Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Show Review with Mike G, the show of life, the show of mezcal, the show of punk rock, the show of beards, Portland, and so much more. You know, some interviews are great, and some interviews I lose track of. Sometimes I lose track of my own time, my own mind, and everything in between. So just shy of Glenn Boyles of Backbar Project's birthday on February 6th, 2 days after my birthday, we're going to release this fine chat talking about his life, his experience as a father, his experience in the hospitality industry, Austin wine merchant, Portland, and working for Backbar Project, where we really bond over mezcal and the Estancia Raicilla, which they have. I'm going to include some pictures of the Estancia Raicilla, which is one of my favorite things in their portfolio. But, you know, at the very end, I thought someone was breaking into the house. It turns out it is I now. YFK, hence I kissed the burglar. So finally releasing this amazing chat with Glenn Boyles.
No, I think way back in the early aughts or the late 90s, like everybody had like a live journal, or if you were edgier, you had like the dead journal.
Can you tell me the name of yours? Because I'll share mine, but only after you share your live journal name. If you don't remember, that's fine too. But I
honestly don't remember. It was something witty for my little punk rock kid brain back then, but something about a robot and autofellatio or something.
See, there you go.
It was something like that. I do not remember it though. No.
I found out recently that most of the live journals are still indexed.
I would be so afraid to find mine.
Afraid's a good word for it. I had two in total.
Okay.
Right. I didn't intend on, but I think I quit it because I was a sad boy or whatever. And then
Sure.
like kind of rejoined it in my early 20s or mid 20s. So I found it. I found the few entries of my second username, but I found them and I read them and I said, man, I really wrote too much. Self-editing was not a thing at that point.
I think sometimes it's okay to be that way though,
Sure.
to go above and beyond for yourself, because if you do go back and reflect upon it, it's insight. You know?
That's right.
If you auto edit too much and if you self edit too much and make it too polished, then you're gonna lose a little bit of what your mind was thinking then. You know,
Absolutely. Too much production and you lose the actual message sometimes.
Yeah. At what point are you writing because you feel the need to express yourself and express those feelings and emotions? And at what point are you doing it because it's like, oh well, writing makes me edgy, so I'm gonna write it.
Oh, I see.
So
almost kind of more posering and kind of the opposite.
Yeah, like posturing. Yeah,
posturing.
Yeah. Well,
do you think that you aligned in that era, the live journal era? Did you align with the punk kids more, or did you align with the emo kids more? Not that they're mutually exclusive, but
I think I had the anger of the punk rock kids. But I definitely probably went to more emo shows than punk shows.
Any particular favorites of that era? Shows or people that you were listening to?
So back then it was, I grew up in East Texas. And in East Texas.
White Oak, is that right?
Yeah, I grew up in White Oak. So White Oak is a small suburb of Longview, Texas, Longview, Tyler area. And we actually had a really great music scene that evolved around Longview, Tyler, Kilgore, Texas, Marshall, and there were bands like Civilian Outbreak, which was very much a bunch of local neighborhood kids that did punk rock. The Christian bands were actually really good back then.
Oh, really?
Taylor Muse has he's been in multiple bands. Um, I do not. He just ended. Oh my gosh, I feel terrible about this. His biggest band. He actually lives in Austin now.
Oh, really?
His biggest band. I'll have to Google it real quick. His biggest band went from like a little small town band to being kind of the poster band for the atheist movements.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
The band is, as I'm going to cover some time here while you're looking it up, but it's a band that I would probably know.
You could, yeah. They garnered national fame for sure.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if they ever went international, but
being in Texas, more than likely, we probably heard these guys.
Yeah, Quiet Company.
Okay, so
Took me a second.
Oh, dude, that's so funny because you said Taylor Muse. I'm like, that sounds familiar. I used to play with Quiet Company all the time.
So Taylor Muse and I were from the same high school.
No way.
Mm-hmm. His father, Coach Muse, was one of the best coaches of our school. Taylor's older brother, Seth, they played music together. And then he had another group of, not another group of friends, but other friends, the Davis brothers, who are three brothers. That is Nick, Jeremy, and Joseph, aka JoJo. JoJo's my age, Jeremy was Taylor's age, and Nick was, I think, 1 year older than all of us. They all played music together.
No way.
So it was a multitude of different bands, and every Thursday and Friday and Saturday from junior year, senior year, we were at one of their shows.
That's so funny. So, that is a small world, right? Because they, if I remember correctly, I met with their manager one time. I've never told this story. And it's not even really a story, right? But I've like self-produced the music ever since I was 14 years old or whatever, working with Tascam 2-track or whatever. And bear in mind, I've been mixing a lot of the stuff I've done over the past 15 years to do a greatest hits. I'm going to call it a faintest hits because none of the songs were ever a hit or great, maybe for that matter. But I see my flaws as a producer and stuff. But I remember we were playing with them kind of regularly, and I met with their manager one time because he was probably taking on more bands and stuff. And he thought that the production on the first record of the band, that whatever moniker I've used like over the past 15 years, he's like, yeah, the production isn't very good. And I was like, damn, man, I did all that production. But then I listened to the Quiet Company record. I was like, but is that what you think? Not that it's bad, but I'm like, that's what you think is good? Right. And it's just like a different opinion. So I always had that like opinion about the manager. I can't remember the dude's name now, but I was like, fuck, that was like right in the side right there.
It's been years since I've listened to their music.
Yeah.
But I think fondly back on the music I did listen to with Taylor, and from what I understand, he's doing really well.
Always seemed like a good dude.
Yeah.
Like, pretty stoic, but like open and stuff.
Very, very quiet, no pun intended. Very stoic, but very expressive as well. And in school, he was one of the sweetest people.
Yeah, he seems sweet.
Yeah.
He was married at a young age too, wasn't he?
He was.
Yeah. I don't know if that doesn't really matter, but I just remember he was married back in the day.
Yeah.
When I was in my 20s.
He's married again. I don't believe it's with his first wife. I believe they did split. But not that it matters. What matters is that he's happy.
Yeah,
so there's another mutual friend we have though.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. And he probably wouldn't remember me, or maybe I don't know. Like it's different now that I'm 43 than when I was like 28.
Right.
Playing
Sure.
But you mentioned coach stuff. I know you were into martial arts and that, but did you play a sport?
I played football for all of a half of a year.
Okay.
And I took a pretty bad injury to one of my knees.
Oh, okay. The knee injury. Okay.
Yeah, I've had a few knee injuries, unfortunately, but I broke a bone in my knee, and probably my first emo experience, as it were, walking off of the field and having my parents have to come pick me up. One of the coaches didn't check on me, didn't do anything. He laughed at me.
What?
Yeah, and
why?
Because this is East Texas football.
Oh, okay, got it.
And I immediately went from wanting to be a part of the team and wanting to succeed in that aspect to be like, no, fuck this.
Yeah, right.
And probably
no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
It immediately flipped the switch of not wanting to participate, not wanting to be one of those kids, like a football kid.
Yeah, right.
And never, like, to this day, I still really dislike football.
Would you say that if someday you're there's a novel dramatization of your life. That's one of the chapters that starts where you're like you kind of put this stuff behind you and move in a different direction.
I think it would have been a moment of clarity of like, oh, I don't need to appease and I don't need to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
Like I wanted the affirmation and I wanted the coach to think positively of me.
Yeah.
Obviously they didn't. And I learned at that moment, like, whether they think it's okay or not doesn't matter. It's whether I think it's okay.
Yeah.
And that point, it was like, okay, I don't have to make everybody happy. Like, I'm going to make myself happy.
No, that's a great realization, I think, for anybody. Did you find, and I always ask because I'm in the hospitality industry, but maybe not as directly as some bartenders and stuff, but I do that shit. It's all just in us, like, that are in this hospitality community. We have the compassion for others, which I think runs pretty high with you as well. Does that come from anywhere? Like, my dad's in the restaurant business. I mean, he's retired now, but mom is a nurse, which is, of course, pure hospitality. But your folks, I mean, did they?
No, they weren't in the hospitality industry as far as what we consider the hospitality industry. Yeah. My dad was a railroad man through and through.
Okay.
He worked for Union Pacific, Missouri Pacific, Kansas City Southern his whole life. But my mom, she has always been of service. And what I mean is she ran nonprofit charities. She ran the Boys and Girls Club of Longview, Texas. She had a Special Olympics team that she founded, the East Texas Lightning. And watching the joy that she got in helping others, I think maybe that's where my want to be of service to people comes from. Yeah. Just two completely different avenues, food and restaurant and bar service versus charity service. But I think right now is the first time I've ever put that two and two together. But yeah, I would think that's probably where it comes from.
It's very adjacent. Helping others doesn't have to be, there's no one way to do that.
Sure.
Maybe even, I wouldn't say doctors, I would say therapists maybe is like even in a sense hospitality, and
absolutely. To be hospitable doesn't have to translate to one specific industry.
Yeah.
It's, you're being hospitable by having me in your house.
Sure.
It's just a want to show hospitality to another individual. And I think we're fortunate with a lot of the people that we surround ourselves with that everybody's hospitable.
Right.
So.
And do you not agree, if you disagree, of course, that's fine, that by being around those kinds of people, that it inspires further hospitality within ourselves?
Absolutely. That's why people like Will Guidara were able to write Unreasonable Hospitality, and it just really, like, the beat of that drum is what keeps everybody going. I've been in the restaurant industry for a very long time, and there's very specific people in my history, in my past, that have shown me hospitality and shown me what hospitality means.
Yeah.
And every one of those individuals has made me want to raise my own personal bar to the point where it's, I almost got fired a couple times because I wasn't doing it right. Or I was being selfish at some point and had to push beyond what I would consider comfortable boundaries. And I think it's bettered me in the long run.
Yeah.
So,
do you find, like, now as a 40-year-old in Austin, Texas, and I know it's White Oak, but let's just say Longview, East Texas, or whatever. Does that fit you now? That place?
East Texas?
Those beliefs? Yeah.
I think the want of having a small town community and people that help their neighbors, that you can go knock on your neighbor's door and ask for a cup of sugar or whatnot.
Yeah.
I still like the idea of that. I think there's a lot wrong, or not wrong. I don't agree with a lot of political views in those kinds of small towns sometimes. So it's a give and take.
Yeah. The family's still there or no?
No.
Okay.
No. My mother now lives in Lampasas.
Okay.
And I have some extended family in San Antonio in the valley. But other than that,
not bad then.
Yeah. Don't really have anybody.
Yeah.
My wife's family lives in the Pacific Northwest. So.
Is that why you were up in Portland?
No, we actually moved up there on a coin toss.
A coin toss.
Yeah.
You do coin toss too?
We do.
I do that all the time.
It's a really easy way for my wife and I not to have to argue.
That's right.
So we were originally going to move to Hawaii. We were going to move to Oahu.
What any particular reason? Any friends out there, or just 'cause
No,
it's beautiful? Or
it was beautiful. Yeah. We got engaged out there. We, of course, very touristy love. Like, we fell in love with the face of Hawaii and what we saw of it. Still to this day, it's one of my favorite places. But I mean, we did everything. We had our dogs vaccinated. We had gotten rid of 90% of our stuff. Wow. We were going to sell our cars and just go. And about a month before we were destined to move, she and I both kind of sat down for dinner, and we were both like, we have to talk about something. And we both had the same conversation topic.
Did you think it was something else? Because I know those can be tense moments where it's like, I got to ask you a question.
No, my wife and I have always been pretty forthcoming with one another.
Yeah.
And we both knew it was something serious, but it wasn't like a relationship type situation.
Got it.
It was
logistical, maybe.
Yeah, either like a career thing or something logistical.
Yeah.
So, but after Hawaii was ex-nayed, we were like, okay, well, if we're gonna move, where do we want to move? And I initially said Austin. She said, no, we're not gonna move to Austin. Like, if we're gonna move, we're gonna go somewhere new.
Oh, okay.
We've
because Austin being Texas, is that what it was, or was it something else?
We would come down. Longview, Texas is pretty small.
Yeah.
So we'd come down and hang out in Austin, do the 6th Street thing, and meet friends that were living here. Like, we had a circle here.
Got it.
And
so some sense of comfort. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she wanted to go somewhere where it was completely new for both of us. So there were discussions of Phoenix and the East Coast and this and that. And I said, okay, well, what about Nashville?
Oh.
And she's like, okay. Still, I was bartending and wanted to pursue, a more in-depth knowledge of all things in that craft. Mm-hmm. She's in the medical field. We're like, okay, well, that could work. She said, well, what about Portland, Oregon? I said, all I know is it rains there a lot. And we started looking and doing all the per capita measurements and the average in the median income of households and how much housing costs and things like that. And finally, after like a month and a half, 2 months of debating, I gave her she went to Haiti and she brought back a Haitian good.
Okay.
So that's the coin we always used. I said, just flip for it. She's like, you're not going to be mad if you lose. I was like, I'm not going to be mad. I'm tired of arguing.
Yeah.
It's like, are you going to be mad? She's
it's up to the coin now.
Yeah. She flipped it and landed on Portland. And I think a month later, we were gone.
Really?
We moved. Yeah.
I know you studied a lot of different stuff, whether it's sherry, wine, obviously working with Backbar Project and knowing more about agave and stuff, which we've really connected on. But when did you know, if there was a moment, it could be a culmination of moments, but when did you know that this industry was the thing for you?
I fell into this industry as I thought it was a really easy way to make money. Mm. I started bar backing, I started bussing tables and doing a little bit of bar backing when I was 16 years old at Texas Roadhouse in Longview, Texas. And the coolest guys were the bartenders. Mm. Jonathan Terrell, who is a musician here in Austin, he bartended, I think, for a little bit at Texas Roadhouse. I know he bartended at a Mexican restaurant called Papacitas.
Yeah.
Worked with him. There are other individuals that were just always the coolest guys. They were the ones that got the most attention from guests. Sure. They were always the one that seemed to be counting the most money at the end of the night. Mm-hmm.
Did the girls part ever appeal to you?
You
know what I mean.
Yes and no. I've always been a pretty monogamous kind of guy.
Same.
And like I had a pretty long relationship through high school and outside of high school, and then dated, and then yeah.
So we're in that to mark that we're the same way in that way.
Yeah, I don't think I ever. I'm trying to think. I don't think I ever developed a relationship in that manner through work.
Yeah.
It was maybe met some cute girls and went on a couple of dates, things like that.
Yeah.
But nothing ever serious. Nothing ever materialized.
Yeah.
But
bartenders are, when you look at it, they're cool.
Dude, they're cool. They're sexy. They are typically the star of the show. They are the ones doing the proverbial song and dance.
Yeah.
They set the tone, set the mood, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw all of that and was like, man, that's really cool. I want to do that. And throughout high school and, I went to college for a very small amount of time, but I always ended up coming back to restaurants and to bars and hospitality. And it finally took the first family-owned restaurant I worked at was a joint in Tyler, Texas called Via Montez. The owners, two brothers, Mundo and Carlos, they were the ones that actually first showed me hospitality. Two of the individuals I was talking about earlier. To the point where I actually really did not like them at first because they were so set in their ways. And I thought I knew what I was doing because I'd already been waiting tables for quite a few years. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, you're doing it wrong. You need to do this. You need to do that. If you want to learn to bartend, you've got to learn how to move like this. Mm. And it was pretty irritating and short-sighted on my part, but they also were the ones that held beverage classes. And they're the ones that were like, hey, we're going to use these spirits for these reasons, and would give us, a little history on the tequilas we were using or the wine that we would be selling. I don't think I grasped any of that knowledge to the point where it carried through with me.
Yeah.
But I did grasp on the fact that hospitality is, being a little bit of a showman, listening to the guests, making sure the guests have what they need sometimes before they know they need it. And that's what really drew me to this industry.
I mean, there's something to that you can, rather I put it this way, the world of spirits is ever growing. Bear in mind, it's rooted in tradition a lot of the times, but there's so many things that can still be done.
Sure.
Certain places where they make mezcal, they never made it before, certain plants that they found. So it's really deeply interesting in that way. When you said, and you went to college for a wee bit of time, what were you planning on studying there?
Business management.
Business management.
Yeah.
I did that.
When I was a kid, I wanted to become a marine biologist. Still to this day, love the ocean, love ocean life.
Yeah.
I think I was so fed up with high school. Mm-hmm. By the time I graduated, it's like, I just want to do my own thing and make money.
Yeah.
And going to community college for a little bit, it was fine, but it never held my attention enough where I kept going.
Yeah.
Whether it's to the detriment of today or not, it's...
I don't think so, but...
I'm happy with where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm extremely happy with my life. So it just always felt like I was going to end up back into where I'm at.
Yeah.
And college, just continued education just never seemed right for me.
It's funny. It didn't seem right to me, but I still did it.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say that it did all that much. Undergrad did fuck all for me. Besides meeting some good friends, it's a few of which I keep in touch with now.
Sure.
But master's work, there was just a bunch of kids. I mean, no, I wasn't a kid at that point. I was like in my early 30s. But it's just the conversations don't involve experience. They involve something that they read in a book. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm dealing with this Japanese team and they don't acknowledge me as the leader of the project. And so I'm like, ended up just having conversations with the teachers because they're the only ones that had been through some shit.
Right.
And so then I'm like, well, why did I spend $65,000 on a degree that really I didn't get that much out of? And so I don't regret it. But to me, it was just a box to tick. And that's probably the wrong reason to spend money on education.
I think just having the piece of paper itself can open doors.
Yeah.
It's certain, if you get on Indeed or any of like the online job searches, it's like, the higher end career fields, they always want some sort of degree, right?
Sure.
Granted, if it might not, you might have a degree in nursing, but you want to go into tech or coding. Mm-hmm. You might. I have friends that have degrees in software education or software engineering, and they work in the medical field.
Yeah.
It just, whether you go to school for it or not, you might end up absolutely hating what you're doing.
Right.
And I think I really didn't want that. I would rather have had the real world experience.
I absolutely agree.
So
and for me, I burned the candle on both ends. I was always working during school.
Sure.
Like my dad told me when I moved out, and not because he's an asshole or anything. He's a good guy now. He's a good guy. He said, if you leave, because I was in Houston, it's like you can move up with us to Dallas to our new house that we're moving. But if you stay in Houston, you're on your own. Not emotionally, but financially, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna just do that. So ever since I was 17, 18, whatever, that's just how it goes. And like you work your way through school and stuff. But I think that something we probably have in common is no task is too menial for you in the bar industry, right? Like cleaning glass. Like you're not like that. I don't think I'm not like that either.
The only thing I will not do, and I say it's a little flippant, but it is true. I will not deal with bodily fluids.
I thought that's what you could say. Yeah.
Like vomit or,
the other things.
Other things. I'm a little bit better with blood because usually that means something pretty traumatic happened.
Sure.
But vomit, that's been pretty much a no-go for me.
Yeah.
Just because if I smell it, then it's going to trigger a reaction for me.
Yeah.
True to this day.
Yeah.
But other than that, no. Once again, some of my best teachers in the hospitality field, they were the gentlemen that I saw that were actually bussing tables or polishing wine glasses or just doing the smallest tasks while we're bartending or waiting tables, and they're actually doing all the supplemental things with humility, and they were doing it because they enjoyed it.
Yeah. And
it's something now too, like one of my favorite tasks was at the end of the night was polishing glassware.
Yeah, I like that too.
It set the tone for the next day. I always felt like, okay, it's just wrapping, tying the bow at the end of a nice present.
Yeah.
Having a good service, having a good shift, making good money, whatever. And then setting up the next day for success.
Yeah.
It always felt good.
I love sweeping.
I don't
know why? I really love sweeping. I don't know what it is. It's just I put some music on, I sweep.
It's pretty metaphorical, right? Like cleaning up the mess and setting a new day. So
this is true. Also, with these trees in my driveway, it's futile to sweep. They just keep
I have
more leaves,
Oh man, I have an oak tree right over my driveway, and it just rains acorns. At all times.
At some point, I find it to be pointless, but I still do it anyway. But I digress. Something that because there's a stoicism about you too that I've noticed. Not that you're very forthcoming, and that's something that like some people they can be stoic and opaque, which I find kind of a difficult nut or difficult acorn to crack to continue the oak wordplay there. But did you
the woodplay?
The woodplay. Well, that's a little darker. Right?
Yeah, indeed.
I know, your father and you're married and stuff, but have you, maybe before now, being 40, did you ever feel like you were not understood by people? In that real, in that real way?
Yeah. I think, I don't know if I would label it as misunderstood. I guess I would. People always see one side, either it be tattoos or physical appearance or whatnot. This is kind of the crux of our civilization, as it were. I have always, my wife might argue this point. I won't speak out for myself until I feel like the absolute need to, and then when I do, it gets.
Is it past the point where?
Yeah, it's. I can kind of go for the throat a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to be better about it, and I'm learning to interject and like make sure my points are heard.
Yeah.
But
you're willing to suffer for other people, is that right?
Yeah, I mean, once again, sitting behind a bar and listening to people talk,
That's true.
Whether you agree with them or not, you kind of have to shut up and take it sometimes. I think that's a lot of it. Also, I don't like being wrong.
Really?
Yeah.
I find that interesting, actually.
Well, what I mean is like, you and I are having this conversation, and I don't want to. If you say something and I think you're wrong, but I don't have facts to back it up, I'm not going to be like, no, you're wrong. Like, I have to unequivocally know, like, and have hardened proof to prove my point against yours before I'll say it.
That's interesting. I've read that as a mental model for a lot of, well, not going to use the magic word here, but there's the February folks, right?
Ah, got it. Okay. Is that a thing?
It's definitely a thing.
I didn't know that.
It's not with me, but a lot of other people, really, they just want to get a finely tuned in a ducks in a row argument to then basically take down an inaccurate statement, right?
I think, and I feel like you might fall in this same pathway as I do. I would rather be wrong and understand why I'm being wrong than speak out and have to be corrected. It's like I can sit there and listen to somebody talk, and it might go against my perception. But if they back it up with fact and everything else, it gives me more to think about and more to digest.
Interesting.
So
okay, that feels more in an intellectual or academic context. What about the opposite, which is sometimes there are situations, especially with someone that you love and that you live with, that there is no real right or wrong.
Oh, my wife and I'll fight like cats and dogs over things. And I will say this, a lot of times I'll end up being wrong, but I'm still going to fight my point with her.
Yeah.
But I also know I can unequivocally be myself with her.
Yeah.
She knows who she married for all the right things and all the wrong things.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times I do have to eat that bit of humble pie and go back to her and say, hey, I'm sorry, you were right. This should have been handled this way, or this was done this way, blah, blah, blah. And I'm very fortunate where my wife is one of those people who should be like, thank you very much. Like sometimes I feel like the 5-year-old.
Right.
It's like she has kid hands with me too.
Yeah, right.
And bless her soul for dealing with it for 16, almost 17 years now.
Wow.
But yeah, other than that, like if it's a professional setting, I will be quiet until it's my turn to talk. Or if I know what somebody's saying is wrong and I can help guide people the right way, I will. But
so it's kind of a diplomatic approach to it. So it's like, you're not bad because you're wrong, but let's go in this direction because maybe this is the better way.
Yeah. I mean, we're all wrong about something, right?
All the time.
Yeah. If you don't want to learn something new at least once a day, it's kind of a wasted day in my eyes.
Yeah, I agree.
And I would rather be wrong and be corrected and be like, okay, well, cool. That's good to know. That's good knowledge to move forward with. So,
you a relatively calm person, or do you have a temper?
I'm calm until I
back to what you were talking about, right? So the majority of the time, not much of a yell.
Once, being 40, I don't have the energy to yell anymore. I don't have the energy to be mad. When I was younger, my 30s, late 20s and 30s were really guided by jiu-jitsu and bartending. And jiu-jitsu was a great way for me to get my anger out and get anxiety out. But as a father with a serious career and, true bills to pay,
sure,
houses and mortgage and all the bills, I can't afford to be that guy just shaking his fist at the air, screaming at the sky anymore. It's not.
You don't have that time.
I don't have that time, and I don't have that energy. I would rather put my energy towards something positive.
I'm with you.
So,
because 40 is a turning point. I mean, I'm gonna be 44 or whatever, and then you'll be 41 a couple of days after me. But the 40s felt like a turning point for me personally. It took a couple years till I was clear of a lot of the bullshit that I put myself through, But has it been a defining year for you, or is it just yet another year in a litany of years that you continue to learn about yourself?
It was a defining year as far as professional career goes. Personally, though, no. It just a year of self growth and being somewhere for a long, understanding I'm going to be somewhere for a longer period of time. My wife and I own our house now, or we're at least paying a mortgage, not renting.
Yeah.
So, and we have our child in a school, and she's happy. So
how old is she now, your daughter?
She's 5.
Okay.
She's 5. 5.5, as she would say.
Speaking of being right.
Very important. Very important.
Sure.
It's allowed a little bit of self-reflection and be like, okay, well, I'm going to be here now. Like, if I was renting, it's like, okay, maybe I would act differently towards somebody or something else. But it's like, I want to be a good neighbor to people that I don't need to care about, but I do care about because they also own homes around me. My daughter goes to school with their children, things like that. Like, that provides a little bit of introspection and retrospection too. And then professionally, being my first true year doing what I'm doing, it's been a year of growth. And
one of the first things, because Mr. Maurer, Mr. Andy Maurer, who's a great guy, works for Backbar as well. I just remember when he was like, oh yeah, you got to talk to Glenn. I think there was vice versa too. Like, you got to talk to Mike or whatever. And I was like, imagine if anybody affiliated with that group or that portfolio of spirits, pretty legit folks, to be honest, like the best of the best, in my opinion.
I think so. When I was bartending and running bar programs, we had Jaffard and Cognac Park and Worthy Park on the back bar.
Oh, we talked about shift drinks.
Yep.
which was the first flight of Cognac Park I ever had.
Yep. With Elise and Anthony.
Yeah, it was a special during Portland Cocktail Week, I think.
Was it?
Something like that, yeah.
Elise Moffat is to this day one of my favorite people in the world.
We're friends on Facebook. I've never met her, but I probably have met her.
Yeah.
Elise Moffat, I know
She
that.
was one of the owners of Shift Drinks.
Oh, okay.
It was her, Anthony Garcia, and Anthony's wife.
Okay.
Anthony ran the wine program. Elise ran the spirits and program. I think they split beer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Anthony's wife cooked, Annie, and she cooked. She
That was a cool spot.
It was a great spot. Those people opened the doors to Portland for me.
Mm.
So before that,
Is that the first spot you worked?
No, I worked at this joint in the Pearl District called Bricks Tavern.
Bricks Tavern, okay.
And Bricks, you would think it had something to do with sugar levels and things like that. It did not. The owner just thought it was a fun name.
I reckon I've been there too, actually.
It's on, 13th and Hoyts in the Pearl. It's
Pretty sure. Yeah.
They do this interesting, once again, going back to coin flips, they do an interesting event on Wednesday nights, Flip Wednesdays. If you're there after 9 p.m. until close, whatever you rack your tab up to be, $1,000, $2,000.
You flip for it?
You can flip for it. So if you lose, you pay your tab. If you win, the house pays your tab.
That ain't so bad.
It was interesting. It definitely turned into much more of a club-like atmosphere because people were willing to take the chance. But I mean, every now and then you see somebody like they ball out and they ball hard, and Portland Trailblazers would come in like there were celebrities and other affluent folk that would come through there, and they would take that chance. So
because it works both ways, right? Like I'm gonna really make it worth my while, knowing I may lose.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do something like that, do it right. Don't like for me that might be like, okay, well they have, you can get Weller 12 or you can get Pappy Lot B. If somebody's gonna buy it for me, I'm gonna get the more expensive one. Why not, right?
Exactly.
So
I like
it's an air of that.
I like that. It's a kind of an interesting concept. I don't think it'd ever work in Austin, but I can never say never.
I wouldn't have ever thought it would work anywhere. And I think Bricks Tavern's still doing it.
Yeah,
they've done it for a long time.
The house always wins at the end.
Indeed,
that's how it goes, right?
Yeah.
So knowing that Austin was on the table initially, but then Portland became the destination. What was the move to Austin like? What was that decision? Your wife was like, "Oh, that's actually cool now." Like
it was actually my wife's work.
Oh, okay.
At that, we were living in Portland. I was working at one of the top restaurants.
Kennard?
Kennard. Yeah, Kennard. To this day, one of the best wine programs and cocktail programs.
Really?
In Portland.
Okay.
Yeah. Very understated cocktail program.
Yeah, I don't recall having been there.
Wines are incredible, though. She worked for a pediatric urgent care called Brave Care and was there pretty much at ground level and really grew with the company. They said, hey, we're going to open up, in other states, including Texas. And it had been in the works for a little bit, and they had offered her like, hey, do you and your husband want, you're from Texas. Do you want to move to Austin?
Yeah.
We said we'd think about it. And then there were a couple of events that happened, including somebody trying to break into our house in Portland that just, as a family now and having to think of our daughter, we were like, yeah, maybe Texas is a better idea right now. And I think we made the right choice. Yeah. So they helped to move us down here. They gave her a little bit of a stipend. It actually all worked out. I found a job at the Austin Wine Merchant online. John and I had one phone conversation and he hired me.
Cool.
And it all just lined up. We were able to get a house sight unseen, for better or for worse on that.
Yeah,
Don't recommend doing that to anybody. But it's all worked out so far. So yeah,
well, it seems like it. You seem like you're good with it. You know what I mean? Like, man, the vibe is good. You seem calm and tranquil and all that.
I think we were always going to end up coming back to Texas at some point. I don't get me wrong. I loved Portland. I think the Pacific Northwest is one of the most beautiful areas in our nation. Portland itself as a city struggling quite a bit right now. And, Texas is a little bit warmer, a little bit nicer weather year round.
Right.
So it's
a good, I'm fine. I've been here way too long.
Right.
Moved around every 4 years as a kid, and I've lived here over 20 years, and can't tell you why, but the way I look at it is either you build wide and keep moving, or you build up.
Yeah.
And so I've just tried to build up here while I'm in Austin, right? See the city change, do new things.
I never like to be stagnant or in one place for too long. I mean, I think that's kind of the bartender in me. Like, you get the hospitality industry, especially bartenders, pretty nomadic people.
Yeah.
But knowing that we were going to move here with a child, it's like, okay, let's put down roots and see how that plays out. We've never done that before.
Yeah. And
so far, we're happy. So
before I talk about a couple questions I've got about Backbar.
Sure.
Did you always set out to be a father? To me, I made that choice at a point. I'm like, that's not for me.
No, my wife and I have always been super happy together. Like every relationship, there's been ups and downs.
Mm-hmm.
But my wife ended up getting baby fever pretty bad. And it was like, oh yeah, we maybe have kids one day. We maybe have kids. And then she's like, I want a kid.
Mm.
And I just remember a lot of people telling me, you're never going to be ready or this and that.
Yeah.
I was making decent money. She was making decent money. So I was ambivalent about it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And we just kind of stopped,
Yeah.
Stop not trying to not have a kid.
That's right.
And 9 months later, Bonnie Cash was born, and like any good parent, I would hope, would say, like, it's been one of the best decisions ever.
Yeah.
So she has absolutely changed my outlook for somebody who's only 5 years old.
Sorry, Glenn, 5.5.
5.5. She is 5.5. Thank you. I will let her listen to this, and she'll
be glad.
She'll want to give you a hug. She's taught me more about myself and about how to treat other people. So I'm inherently a pretty impatient person, and she's taught me. She is continually teaching me how to be patient every day. So
I love that.
Yeah,
I like things, people, places that inspire us to be better.
Yeah,
a more rich, introspective version of ourselves, whether that's travel, whether that's a child, like it comes in all forms,
Yeah, I mean, to have a tiny, half you, half your partner running around and being completely dependent on you. And when we're all human, we get frustrated. Unfortunately, I have yelled at her.
Sure.
And when I get angry and to see the immediate look of sadness on her face,
yeah,
it's an immediate oh, I messed up. I just fucked this up. It's like, and I just started thinking, and my wife and I talk about it often. It's like, how would I want to be spoken to? Like, what's the golden rule on that?
Yeah.
And it's absolutely changed how I talk to her, how I talk to other people. I always try and be respectful no matter what, but now even more so because, I just try and be cognizant of what people's feelings are going to be with the words I say.
Sure. And it's not something that stops at home. It's not a skill you just get there and you treat everyone else different. It's something you can extend to all the people that you meet.
Absolutely.
Forever, right? And I think that's something that is so wildly valuable about being a parent, not being a parent, of course. And so,
sure.
I don't exactly know what that's like, but I know for my folks, them seeing me do what I do has made them incredibly, I don't even say proud, but it's opened their minds to a lot of different
Absolutely.
things.
And being a parent's not for everybody. I certainly I don't fault anybody for not being a parent, just like I would hope people don't fault people for having kids.
Yeah.
It's everybody's going to become their own person and their life will dictate how that happens, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
I just think for myself that having a kid was a great idea because it made me be a better person.
Yeah, I love that. Here's a kind of a humorous anecdote. My mom's been sober since she had me, pretty much. Maybe when I was 2 or something, so in her at mid-30s. So she was talking about a bottle my dad got, because my dad does drink, which is good. Nice bonding for us.
Sure.
And she goes, this comes from me. This is so funny. A woman that's been sober, that doesn't know the first thing about alcohol production. She said, I think this tequila your father got was in stainless steel. And I was like, this is bad. You've learned some things from me inadvertently that she finds interesting, but has no experience with. And so that's how I know that somehow this kind of weird foray into the distilling business and booze over the past 12 years, it's had these weird tendrils that affect my folks.
Sure.
I think it's funny.
I mean, they want to be able to have that conversation with you because they know you're so
true.
passionate about it.
That's fair. Yeah.
So.
She was trying to connect. She's like, they age things in glass? And I was like, yeah, that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It was so funny. So one of the things that the first time I went to Oaxaca in 2013, 2014, I just missed the Backbar guys. They were actually in town. Actually, you know what? I was at Orejin, I think, with somebody, I can't remember, Judah, some of the guys from Baga or whatever.
Okay.
And like Graciela was over with William at this other table. These are names that I'm not name dropping, but just because I think you know these people. And I believe that they were having dinner with the Backbar guys way back in the day. Because I kept hearing about it.
That would be one of the first couple trips of Backbar Project.
Exactly.
I would think. So
because like these guys from Seattle are in town, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, and so I started looking into them and stuff. And then I had this conversation with Andy when I saw him in Houston here kind of recently, talking with Jake Jacobo from Por Siempre, right? And he was telling me about an outing they had like in the jungle or something that was like
is this with an Andy fell?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. So, but tell me what it made me think of is I work at a tech company that I won't name. You can find out what it is, and there's a distinct culture there. I've learned a lot from it. We're one of the biggest in the world, if not the biggest in the world. But I'm always interested in the cultures of these companies because if you retain employees like Backbar has, it's bound to be because there's some inner workings. There's this culture that exists. So tell me what that feels like to work with the team.
It feels like being seen and being heard professionally for the first time.
Oh, wow.
I've been fortunate once again where I've had a lot of really great bosses and managers and mentors. Backbar Project as my first supplier job has been fantastic. It's and I say this as honestly and humbly as I can. The partners, the gentleman that started the company, they're accessible for people, the low men and women on the totem pole, myself and my colleagues. I can send an email, send a text, get an answer immediately. They are also humble enough individuals where if they think I can answer a question for them, they will call me straight away. It's
nice.
That's incredible. They also value providing education for us. I've been with the company. I got hired the middle of last year and was in the market starting really December of last year.
Yeah.
They've sent me to San Pancho and San Sebastian for, Raicilla and Tabache. I've been to Oaxaca for Mezcal. France for all of our French partners. Getting to go to Jamaica in January for Worthy Park and Rum Bar. Yeah,
nice.
That's a really big, pretty shiny penny, and these folks just it's not even a question in their mind. They're like, we have to do this, and we have to do this for every single person we hire.
Yeah,
because we can tell you the stories all day long, but when you get to go and you get to meet the Mezcaleros or the Jaffard family or, the Tosundiers of Cognac Park and walk the distilleries and the palenques and be around them and see what they do day to day, you develop your own stories and your own emotional connection.
Yeah.
And that is what makes Backbar special to me. So
I love that. I think that there's I've interviewed tons of people, lots of different folks working for a lot of different brands. And the great brands, no matter what resources they've had, no matter if they were acquired or not, they all have something in common. And that is simply that they invest in their people.
Yeah.
And it's not about salary, which is an investment. Of course, I'm not belittling that.
Sure.
But there's something of much greater value, at least in my perspective, to seeing and developing your own story. You said that. That's the greatest way to say it. You can explain to someone how Oaxaca feels. You can explain to someone how Guadalajara feels in the city, right? We're getting tacos at night, the small ones with Esteban or these people that are legends, You can't write about that unless you're there.
Yeah, 100%. Walking to... they're all fantastic adventures with tons of stories, but walking up the trail to Soledad Vega to to meet with Justina and Estacio and those folks, and to be humbled that they do this every day, or no, maybe not every day, but whenever they need to leave, that's what they have to do. And to us, like, sometimes walking to the car and driving 30 minutes is a hassle, right? It was such a humbling experience. And at the same time, everybody was so happy. And they, we were always asking these what we thought were poignant questions, or like, these very detailed questions. And one of the things I asked was like, well, is there anything you want to ask us? Like, do you have any questions about what we do? Da, da, da. And almost entirely everybody had the same question. It was like, well, do you like our mezcal? It's like, we love your mezcal. And that's all they cared about. They're like, do you like what we're doing? They liked having that affirmation. Yeah. So it was,
I love that.
It was, man, it just, they're just making juice that they've made for generations. And we put so much thought and time into it, and they're just out there working their hardest to produce the best mezcal, or whatever it is, whatever spirit it is possible. And it was such a amazing thing to see and experience. Yeah. So
see, and that's the thing is, like, we've both been to Oaxaca. I've been to Oaxaca a bunch of times, stayed a month out there, and kind of sabbatical or whatever, and it's a magical place, but I get a little exhausted by people extolling the virtues of it ad nauseum.
Sure.
It's a working place that smells in places. It's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's an actual, it's a real thing with flaws. I'll put it that way.
Oh, 100%. I mean, what we think is magical, like, I'm sure if they were to come to Austin, Texas to see what we do, they'd be like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful here, and these restaurants are so polished and this and that.
Yeah.
Things that we take for granted, we go out there and see, how rustic it is, or how they live, and we romanticize it just as much.
Yeah.
And there's burdens everywhere. Everybody has their own.
But you're right. It's just, we lose sight of what's beautiful about Austin probably at times, just as anybody can take anything for granted, when you're working all the time, chopping agave and fermenting and stuff, like, you can lose it. But suffice it to say that there is no greater, more interesting, and more vibrant category than mezcal for me. Now, that's not only mezcal, it's just all agave. Right?
Sure.
Because that word can be very anchored to a particular thing, which Indeed. Does not include Raicilla in that. So I got a couple questions left for you. I don't know how you're going to answer this one, but I ask everybody this question. And I don't ever suspect that anyone's ever listened to any of the hundreds of podcasts I've ever done, ever. I never, when people, they recently, someone yesterday was telling me how grateful they were that I've been writing on Substack. I'm like, oh shit, you read it? Cool. Thanks, right? I didn't know anyone was moved by anything that I do. I just do it, right? So this question, that was a bit labored, but I want to go music with this one. So you can drink this beautiful mezcal from San Guela Villa, Sal Balthazar Guela Villa, sorry, RIP to this mezcalero. And it doesn't matter where it is in the world, but it's this mezcal, and you can have this dram with any musician, living or deceased. Who would you like to drink with?
Oh, good question. I'm trying to...
I know, because there's no right or wrong, and some people think there's only what's right now,
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's... This doesn't speak to, like, the specificity of this mezcal, but somebody that I would like to sit down and have a couple drinks with would probably be Johnny Cash.
Oh, nice. Daughter's middle name, right?
Yeah. Up on that, or no? No relation, though.
Okay.
Well, obviously no relation.
Inspiration, no?
Nope.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
So her name... for the record, my daughter's name is Bonnie Cash. Bonnie comes from my grandmother, who was 5'1", was blind in an eye. She drove trucks and worked on the railroad for a living.
Nice.
Very, very strong-willed woman. We wanted, once we found out the gender, we wanted our daughter to have a strong name, so Bonnie. And regardless of gender, we were going to use Cash.
Okay.
So it just so happened that Bonnie Cash is, very similar to Johnny Cash.
That's right.
I've always enjoyed his music. I think there is a lot of emotion and a lot of pain and a lot of energy in his music. So
there's like when he redid Rusty Cage, remember that? He did Hurt and Rusty Cage. I never heard that song that way before. It was such an interesting way to do it.
I think I think a lot of what he did too, like, yes, his genre is pretty de facto country.
Yeah.
But there is a lot of punk rock, like, fuck you attitude,
Shot a man in Reno to watch him die. Come on.
Yeah. So
I've done that, but I didn't do it to watch him die. It was just an accident. So it's like, that's even more hard-nosed Johnny Cash shit. So this last question for you, the Tepache is new, and it's I hate the word or the acronym RTD, but it is, for lack of a better word, an RTD, right? Or is it?
No.
Would you call it something else?
I would call it Tepache.
Okay, yeah. It's sparkling though, isn't it not? It's
effervescence.
Got it.
I actually have meant to grab them. I do have a couple ice cold ones for you in the car.
Oh, cool. Need to try it.
Have you not had it yet?
Nope.
So it is Tepache. That is the category, which Tepache is a fermented beverage from Mexico, most commonly associated with pineapple.
Yeah.
But other fruits can be used, guava, pineapple, Jamaica, whatever. Tepache Saison is a little bit higher alcohol. It is effervescence. The higher alcohol comes from longer fermentation, so it's
a little drier.
No, there's just residual sugar too.
Oh, okay.
Single varietal of pineapple, Pinot Miel. The Tepacheria is in San Pancho. Pineapple, about 85% of the pineapples come from the pineapple fields that are about 50 kilometers away.
Oh,
wow. Goes through, through the system, brush wash. They remove the crown. It's a skin on milling. And then fermentation. The first fermentation is about 7 to 10 days to achieve the base. And then secondary fermentation is, a longer 20 plus days.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's very, very low and slow, cold temps.
Yeah.
They do not use ambient yeast. They use champagne yeast. So there's a lot of controlling factors to get the flavor that, Rio and Sebastian, the folks at the Tepacheria, want. They also add in piloncillo and canela.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it sounds like a force de triomphe of Mexican flavors.
I would think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Piloncillo, yeah.
The biggest compliment that I've received about it so far, we showcased it at Austin Food and Wine, and there were a couple people of Hispanic origin that came up, and they're like, "Oh, it's Tepache." They're like, "Is it real Tepache?" Like, no, it's real Tepache. It's made where it should be made by the people who should be making it. And this one young lady, she's like, "No, my family, this isn't Tepache. My family makes Tepache." I was like, "You haven't even tried it."
Yeah, right.
And like, I forced it into her hand. She took a drink. She's like, "Oh my God. It tastes like my grandfather's Tepache."
Yeah.
And she was blown away. And it was...
Hang on a second.
Yeah, go.
Okay, that was a surprise. That was a burglar. For everybody listening, that was not a burglar.
The burglar has a very nice voice. It sounds like the burglar's bringing groceries in the house.
I kissed the burglar, guys. I don't know. I feel a little strange about it. Let's see. This is living out of fantasy, right?
That's the next Taylor Swift song.
Don't get me started. Taylor Swift. But yeah, I am real excited about the Tepache, and I'm glad that it resonates kind of honestly with folks. Where can you get it? Is it like wine merchant?
Yeah, wine merchant. The Austin Wine Merchant. The Austin Shakers have it where you can buy it individually. Actually,
oh, cool.
Travis Heights Wine and Spirits, Wiggy's, I believe AB Liquor picked up a case.
That's great.
Yeah, Proof Liquor down in, or not Proof. Geek Liquor down in Buda off 1626.
Oh, close to you, yeah.
Yeah. So, trying to...
Does it make a good boilermaker with mezcal?
I think so.
All right, that's all that matters.
I was going to say, we can find out, yeah. So,
that will do.
Cool.
I'm glad we finally get to do this and sit down and chat.
Yeah, thank you for it.
It's been a pleasure, man. Talk soon, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Well, there we have it. Glenn Boyles at the Backbar Project. We get to talk about Agave de Cortez, El Holgorio, and Estancia Raicilla, Park Cognac. I mean, Worthy Park, the list doesn't end. It has such an amazing portfolio of things, and it's great to run into Glenn all the time. Whether he's doing a rum event, whether he's doing an agave event, a cognac event. He has it all. And it was great to dig into the mind and his inner workings as a father, as a hospitality professional, a husband. And I think that we both have this stoicism sometimes, that our face doesn't match the internal fury or the internal passion that we're feeling. And you know what? Glenn's birthday is on February 6th, 2 days after mine, and we get along very well. Whatever kind of stock you put into it, Aquarius unites. So thanks everybody for listening to Show to V with Mike G. No matter how many times you're trying to get rid of pet smells out of carpet, I'm telling you it's quite difficult. Or if you're thinking, yeah, I should probably watch the Golden Girls again. I'm watching Party Down again. Please keep dancing.